Picture this, it's 1939 and the world is on the brink of war. But in a quiet corner of Suffolk, where I am now, a widow with a curious mind is about to make the greatest archaeological discovery ever in British history. What she would find with her team in her backyard would completely change our understanding of Anglo Saxon England. This is the story of Sutton Hoo. Sutton Hoo? No, Sutton Hoo. It's the name. Don't worry. Meet Edith Pretty, a wealthy widow living on her estate near the River Deben in Suffolk. For years she'd been intrigued by these mysterious grassy mounds on her property where locals whispered what they might be, but nobody knew for sure. So in 1938 she took the decision upon herself to investigate. She contacted her local Ipswich museum, who then sent her a self-taught archaeologist by the name of Basil Brown. Now Basil Brown wasn't your typical archaeologist by any stretch of the imagination. He was a working class chap from Suffolk with no formal university training. But what he lacked in credentials, he more than made up for in experience and his intuitive knowledge of the Suffolk landscape. So in 1938 he began. He started on the smaller mounds, in which he found very interesting but smaller Anglo Saxon artefacts. And it wasn't until 1939 when he turned his attention to the largest mound of them all, when everything changed. As Brown scraped away centuries worth of sand, he began to see something extraordinary. The ghostly outline of a ship. It was a little bit bigger than that, but not just any old ship either. A massive 90-foot Anglo-Saxon vessel that had been dragged inland and used as a tomb. The Suffolk soil had dissolved the wood, but the iron rivets remained, creating a perfect shadow of the ship's hull. It was like stepping into a photograph, preserved in earth for 1,300 years. Think of it. But here's where it gets interesting. It was a tomb of a once great king. So not only was it a great ship burial, but there was a load of treasure in there with him too. And you know what treasure means. That treasure went on to change everything we know, or thought we knew, about Anglo-Saxon England. Magic. What Brown found was breathtaking. An intricately detailed helmet, gold belt buckles, silver bowls this, coins and jewels that, and a sword that would be worth a king's ransom, each helping to date the burial back to the year 625 AD. Every artefact they found told a story of a sophisticated, internationally connected civilization. These weren't just treasures from the Dark Ages of some primitive barbarians. This was the treasure in the burial of a king who led an empire and traded internationally across the length and breadth of Europe and beyond. Unprecedented. But it was a race against time, because in the same period, Nazi Germany were about to declare war on Poland, and if Britain got involved, then the whole project would have been down the pan. Fortunately though, the main excavation was completed in August 1939, just days before Britain declared war. Had it been delayed just by a few weeks, all of it might have been lost to history forever, due to air raid bombings and simple wartime chaos. Which makes me wonder how much else we've lost to history that we'll never know about, all because of avoidable warfare. Sad, but I guess we'll never know. Imagine for a minute you find millions and millions of pounds worth of silverware in your back garden. What are you doing with it? You're keeping it all for your greedy little self, aren't you? I know you would. You make me sick. Maybe you should take a leaf out of Miss Pretty's book, because what she decided to do, she decided to donate the whole lot to the British Museum so that you and I can enjoy looking at the findings today, for free, instead of keeping it all to herself like you would and becoming an extremely wealthy woman. What a woman she was for that. Unfortunately, in 1942, she passed away, just 3 years after the excavation that made her estate nationally famous. Rest in peace to her. The discoveries of Sutton Hoo really did revolutionise our understanding of Anglo-Saxon England, proving that 7th century Britain was more than just a cultural backwater, some think of it as today. The burial likely belonged to King Radwold of East Anglia, a powerful ruler who straddled both pagan and Christian worlds. The ship burial tradition connects Britain with Scandinavia, and the Byzantine silver and Frankish coins substantiate the far-reaching trade networks. Hats off to them. The story gained renewed fame through Netflix's The Dig film, introducing a new generation to this remarkable discovery. But perhaps the most important legacy is how Sutton Hoo reminds us of how little we actually know about our past, and how a single discovery can illuminate an entire civilization that has been lost to time. The treasures at Sutton Hoo didn't just survive in the ground for 1300 years for nothing. They survived to remind us that the Dark Ages weren't so dark after all. Isn't it amazing? Thanks for watching.